What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the GoodeBaker Podcast. I'm Nick Baker, and across from me, Shane Good.
Yo, what's up?
And we are here to talk to you about some video games. But first things first, I got to remind you to go over to Apple Music and to Spotify and look for the podcast feed there. Download us, listen to us. We're lovely people. Also, keep up with us on social media by following us on Instagram and Facebook. Just search GoodeBaker with an E in the search bar, and you will find us for sure. There's nobody out there like us.
True, very true, very true.
So, with that out of the way, what have you been playing, man?
Dude, I've been hopping back into the Path of Exiles due to the fact that the new season just dropped. I really like it. However, work's been distracting me, so I'm a little slow on the uptake right now. I'm playing a I was playing a Cobra Lash build as a Shadow. Then I switched halfway through. Well, hang on. I was playing like 4 different builds. I got to level 40. Decided which one I wanted to play. Ended up not liking it. Switched to a Cobra Lash build. Then got to mapping. Got enough currency. Switched to Flicker Strike. Now I'm playing Flicker Strike. Don't really love it, so I'm gonna play something else pretty soon.
Right on.
Yeah. And then I hopped back into playing some 5-man League of Legends with a team. So, League Assault. Why not?
Yeah, how's that going?
Great. It's a lot of fun. As long as you're playing with a bunch of people that you know, the game can actually be very fun and entertaining.
Yeah, that's the same thing for really any multiplayer game, is if you're in there with friends, it's immediately going to be 100% better.
Oh yeah, but enough about my shenanigans. What about your shenanigans? What have you been playing?
Well, nothing really new on my end of things. I'm just kind of grinding through Bloodborne. I've faced horrible atrocities in this game, but I think I'm nearing the last turn of the game. So I finally beat the amygdala monster, which is this like 8-armed beast with 1,000 eyes, and it can shoot this laser beam out of its face. Really not fun. It tore off its own arms and tried to beat me to death with them. Not a great time. I also fought these horrible snake monsters in a forbidden woods. They poison you, and they're awful as well.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
And then to top it all off, last time I played, I fought these 3 shadow knight beings that each have a different little quirk to them, but each of them explodes into snakes eventually once you hurt them enough. So yeah, snakes have been the bane of my existence for the last, few hours in that game.
Yeah, I could definitely see you going outside and seeing a snake and just like throwing something at it, just out of frustration.
Oh yeah, not to mention this weird rock-faced spider larva that I had to kill on the top of a frozen lake. Yeah, that game is something. If I wasn't so damn interested in the world, I'd probably stop playing it just because it's so abusive. But at the same time, I just want to see what's at the end. I just can't stop. But enough about what we've been playing. Let's talk about the big topics of the week. There are a few little things that I want to kind of mull over because one of them's kind of an interesting little rumor that's been flared up. Amazon also announced their gaming streaming service, Luna.
Ooh.
We'll talk a little bit about that. But our big topic is going to be the purchase of ZeniMax by Microsoft and what implications that might have on next gen. But let's start with Metal Gear Solid remake for PS5 rumors surface. After a recent release of Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 for PC, this got me really excited because my favorite Metal Gear Solid was the first one. I would love to see that remastered in a way that is similar to like a Final Fantasy VII remake, like just completely ground up, take everything about that game and either make it better or change some things that need to be modernized. Clearly, there's so many things that they could do there to make the game really great. Did you ever play Metal Gear Solid, the first one?
Yeah, so I played Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and that one they had on PSP. I can't remember which one that was.
Oh yeah. Peace Walker.
Peace Walker, that's what it was.
Yeah, that one was really great.
That was fantastic. Really challenging game, actually.
Yeah. So this one really excited me. I don't know if the rumors are anything to be taken. They must be taken with a grain of salt, obviously, as all rumors should be. But the Metal
Yeah.
Gear Solid 1 and 2 ports for PC, I hear, are pretty great. So hopefully that does mean something.
Yeah, I mean, I've obviously haven't played Metal Gear 1 and 2 in a long ass time, but I really enjoyed the game when it came out. I think I had a PS2 when I used to play it on PS2, just like the old put the PS1 disc in and pray that it
Yeah,
works
yeah.
because it's scarred to hell.
Yeah,
Um,
the black bottoms that look like
uh-huh.
dropped a bunch of sticks on your like what the hell just happened here?
Pretty much, but yeah, no, I really enjoyed that. That'd be cool. A remaster definitely would be cool.
Yeah. But yeah, that again, really cool rumors need to be taken with a grain of salt. But moving forward, I mean, it'd be a great PS5 exclusive for them, and it it is pattern esque. It seems like what Sony's been going for lately is kind of bringing up some of their old talent to put a new shiny coat of paint on them.
Mm.
But let's talk about Amazon. So Amazon at their event this week, they announced all kinds of their new tech and Echo Dots and
Oh, that Echo looks
everything.
so freaking weird.
There was a drone, a security drone now. They're doing everything now. But the one thing that obviously we're most interested in here at Good Baker Games is the game streaming service, which is going
Yes.
to mimic Stadia almost exactly. A few pricing differences. Of course, you have Prime that you can get in there with your Prime membership um, just out of the gate. But there's going to be some differences there where you can pay an extra subscription fee for some different channels, is what they're calling them. The first of which is going to be Ubisoft channel, in which you can get all of the new Ubisoft games day and date on their service for an extra fee. I think it's I don't know if they've announced the fee actually. So the two prices that they did announce, according to the article I read on IGN, is the controller, which is going to connect directly to their cloud, which is supposedly supposed to reduce latency.
Hmm.
Very similar to how Stadia does it, is going to cost $49.99, which I think is cheaper. I think the Google one is 70. Uh,
Sounds about right.
and the entry level subscription without Prime is going to be $4.99. So that is $5 cheaper than the Stadia's $9.99.
Ooh.
I don't
Uh,
know if
a-
they've announced like a
actually,
huge suite of games for this yet, but the Ubisoft thing is really interesting. I think just the way that they described how those channels are going to work. It's first going to be just Ubisoft, but excuse me, they they said that they're going to have different channels for select genres of games as well. So one of the examples they put up there was just RPGs, where they're going to have like a slew of RPGs available in this channel. And if you really like RPGs, you can pay that extra little fee to get access to those RPGs and so
that's
on and so forth.
cool. By the way, it's actually the lowest base price you can get. Because there's a bunch of different versions. It's $9.99, but it comes with 3 months of Stadia as well.
Oh, nice.
So it's
Nice.
like a like you. It looks like you have to get a controller with a bundle, type of thing. So
Right.
hopefully you don't break your controller. But anyways,
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully you don't play any Bloodborne.
or For Honor.
Oh God, yeah. For Honor is worse in a lot of ways, and it was just so I could go on,
Fucking
You'll know about me in For Honor in the coming years, getting to know me on this podcast.
yeah,
I'm sure.
yeah. There's been some moments, but
Yeah.
anyways, yeah. That's really cool. Actually, I like their. I mean, the service itself is nothing I would ever personally really get into, just because of the way that I enjoy or the way that I kind of play video games. I'm very much of a build my own system, which is why I play PC mostly.
Right. Right.
I just enjoy so much of that.
Hmm.
But I think that they're doing it a really smart way, where like, well, we could charge them $100 or $70 or whatever for all of this, but it's a very like direct TV ad. Like, why pay for things you're not using? You don't want to watch this? Don't watch it. Want these 5 channels? Just pay for those 5 channels. Like, I just feel like there's a guy in a direct TV ad right now yelling at me, pay for what
Yeah.
I want to use and don't pay for what I don't want to use.
Right.
But no, I think that's actually a really smart way to handle it and to kind of do that type of a thing. So
Yeah, I think it is also really interesting that they're going to have kind of an umbrella genre over certain games so that you're not going to just be locked into, say, Ubisoft games or any of the other third-party developers that could possibly put their stuff on here. Just locked into those games specifically, you can kind of have like one or two things from here or there, and you can pick a genre of games that you really like or you're most comfortable with. Like a lot of people just play FPS games or a lot of people play RTS games.
hmm
But yeah, I thought it's a good competitor. Luna's an interesting name. Didn't really, you know, strike me as a game streaming service name, but neither did Stadia. So I guess
yeah.
the naming conventions for these things are a little strange at this point.
I mean, I can't say much because I either like what I mean, my username. Come on, Isago.
Yeah, it's a
Like,
go.
I guess I can't make fun of anybody's naming ideas because all of my character names and like usernames are all like freaking ridiculous. So,
Yeah, yeah,
but no, Luna is I kind of imagine that being like a dog name, to be honest.
yeah. It does sound like a nice little dog.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, like German Shepherd or something like that.
What wasn't the mascot for Amazon at one point? Or maybe was that Target?
I thought that was Target. I
Yeah,
thought it was a golden retriever, right?
Target was it's a little terrier there with the dot on
Oh,
his eye.
who had a golden retriever? I thought I would have sworn somebody had a golden
Maybe
retriever.
Amazon had the golden retriever.
Maybe.
Might be onto something.
If not, Amazon, you should get on that because golden
Yeah,
retrievers are
I mean,
cute, and everybody
you
loves
could
cute.
name it Luna and have it be the mascot for the streaming service, and I think you'd do way better.
I agree, 100%. But anyways,
Moving on. So, let's talk about Microsoft because, I mean, we really don't talk too much about Microsoft on here, seeing as how I'm very much a Sony guy and you're a PC player. So we don't have that like kind of middle ground a lot of the time with Xbox, but they really have been making money moves lately with the purchase of Bethesda's parent company ZeniMax,
mm,
and also now including EA Access in their Game Pass this winter. They're going to have a ridiculous offering for that service, and they're doing a lot for the consumer right now in the way of like supplying so many games at launch that aren't necessarily next gen games, but you're these games that thousands and thousands of people haven't even gotten to try yet that are just now available to you instantly on Game Pass. So the first things first, the purchase of Bethesda means now that all of those games, all of the Bethesda library is going to come day and date to Game Pass
mm,
from henceforth. So that's awesome.
that is pretty sick.
As a PlayStation gamer, I'm thinking now like, Game Pass is impossible to ignore now. We cannot I cannot get around not either getting an Xbox or finding some way to play Game Pass. So my question to you,
hmm
and it's here in the show notes,
I do see it.
and I know you're excited to try and convince me. I've been pre-ordering a lot of consoles lately
You
for a lot
have.
of people, and I pre-ordered an Xbox Series X, and for our friend Ben, and he asked me, "Oh, I have the page up to pre-order on Best Buy as well. It's here. I can pre-order my own, or I can just take the one that you pre-ordered off your hands." And I said, "Nah, man, don't pre-order. We're good. I think I'll bide my time and think about it for a little bit." So what I'm asking you is, should I get a gaming PC or should I go console weeb and get an Xbox Series X in this next generation?
You see, I think what you should do, and this is just my personal take on it. We'll give
Mhm.
some, a little bit of back for it as well. So a computer console right now is in my opinion, a wiser investment because there's so much more of a variety of games that you can play. Um, on top of the variety of games that you can play, it opens up modding ideas that you've never even dreamed of for things that you've enjoyed so many different ways already. But mostly just the idea that I personally think the first generation that comes out of a console is good a lot of the time, but it's not great. A lot of
Mm.
times there's so many issues with them. There's, just so many clunks, and you can only do so much controlled testing. I mean, look at the Switch. The Switch is an awesome console that literally has sold millions of copies. However, it has several issues like the stick that drifts. It has button wearing out issues. It has a ton of different issues, which
Right.
now they've fixed because they've had a surplus of millions of people who are going to play it and now understand, what issues go wrong with them. So the next generation or the next kind of like model up version is just so much more refined. I think it's just better to wait out that first model personally. It's like you never want to
Mhm.
buy a car that comes out in the first year.
Right.
That's my opinion, so I would vote PC on this. In which case, I actually just built a PC for somebody else. It cost roughly around $790, and that was a budget PC that I could even go a little more budget on and probably drop it down to close to like 650. So there is that. Also, my phone. Do 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 do. Football's about to start.
Oh my God, yes. Did you set your fantasy lineup?
Yeah, I did. I did.
Yeah, I gotta talk to my dad here. He's sending me in suggestions for his team.
But
I'm in control of his team this year. But yeah, I think it's pretty convincing now that I need to be in this family somehow, in the Microsoft family somehow.
mm,
And with the price tag of the Xbox Series X being 500 already, and making that commitment to another family of gaming consoles is enticing because of the offerings that they have.
mm,
But at the same time, if gaming PC can offer me that with the same, same offerings, and even better, like you said, there's modding potential, and there's so many other PC exclusive games that you can only play on that platform. It just seems now like a no-brainer to get a PC so that I can have the best of both worlds in that way. But
right.
it draws to mind a huge hole in Microsoft's next gen console like sales pitch, that if people realize this now, who's really going to, beyond like the first wave of Xbox Series X buyers and pre-orders, which have gone absolutely crazy, just like the PS5.
Oh yeah.
Beyond those people that are early adopters, how far can it go as far as sales go? Like, is the Xbox Series X going to have like a long shelf life as compared to the exclusive heavy PS5, because you can only play certain games on the PS5 at a certain time, like uh, Horizon and all those exclusives have eventually come to PC too. So that kind of drops off at a certain point. But I think they play their cards a little bit more close to their
Mm,
chest or around launch. So it interests me in the way that I think that Microsoft's kind of playing both sides of the field, but I think that they're not necessarily pushing as hard as they could with the Xbox Series X, by
yeah.
making them, some of their games, Xbox exclusive instead of sending everything to PC. And I think this is a thought I had before too, when they first announced that all their exclusives were going to go to PC as well.
Mm. Yeah, I definitely. That thought is definitely there. Um, I mean, just the idea alone that, like you said, PlayStation is holding their cards so close. you know,
Mm,
and that they're like everything eventually does go to PC, even if it's not intended to go to PC ever. Eventually, somebody figures out how to make it playable on a computer. Um,
right, right.
so that is a thing. However, when it comes to like Microsoft literally just being like, hey, so from here on out, PC gets everything. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
and now it's PC gets everything. Plus, now Bethesda games might be exclusive to Game Pass and Xbox, and just Microsoft branding, so that PC gets that as well. And then EA Access is lumped into that, so you
mm-hmm.
get all of EA's games and all like sports and whatever Star Wars games that they put out, or whatever Battlefield games they put out. It's
Yeah.
all of that is like right up my alley. So now, like I said, it's impossible to ignore the power of that gaming platform. But making the decision between gaming PC and Xbox Series X, I think, has been clear for a while. Like I wanted to ask you just to get your opinion on it. I
Mm-hmm.
think the gaming PC is definitely the way to go for myself, because getting another console, one, it clutters up the shelves, and two,
Yeah.
it doesn't make a whole lot of financial sense if I can just bump a few extra dollars into a gaming setup that can last me potentially years and years and years longer than the Xbox Series X,
Right. And I mean,
with all the same benefits.
honestly, a that's the big thing that people always say. Gaming PCs are so expensive. Computer gaming is just so expensive. But realistically, if you buy 3 games a year to 5 games a year on console at launch, PC gaming is cheaper in the long run because you pay more money up front to save a lot of money on just straight up like games itself. I mean, Steam has 40% to 70% off on games literally every single week. Bethesda games all the time are on sale. You can get Epic always has games on sale. Even Borderlands 3, 4 months after release was I think it was like 33% off on PC, but only PC. Like it's
Yeah.
just there's so many sales on PC and there's so many different ways to get games that people have to be so competitive. And the best part is too, like if you prefer a controller over a keyboard, you can just use controller on your computer. I mean, I have a freaking controller sitting right next to me because I play racing games on controller because they just feel better on controller, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, I I'm just a PC nerd, personally. But then again, most of the PCs that I build for $700 to $900 are, 3 to 4 year PCs without being upgraded. I built a $1,100 machine that is basically a 7 year PC or a 6.5. Depending on how crazy things get, it'll go for at least 5 to 6 years without having to be upgraded. So
Yeah.
I guess take that as you will.
Yeah, I think I've taken it to heart. I am heavily considering all of that, now more than ever, especially because of, like I said, all the offerings that Game Pass brings to the table,
Mm-hmm.
and the future of what Microsoft could potentially bring into their partnership. This big purchase of Bethesda's parent company now is just the tip of the iceberg. I feel like I think that this is their new strategy, where they're going to keep growing that first party library until it's just completely inignorable.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's exciting to see, because Microsoft for the longest time has been such a side saddle for me, where I haven't really considered many of their games outside of like the big budget titles. Like maybe I'll kick around a Halo every now and again, or
Yeah.
Gears of War is always one of those ones that has interested me on a surface level, but never really dug the story. Um, but now that they have all of these first parties, the huge stable, like Ninja Theory is a great studio. Whatever the studio that's coming out with the Medium, I'm really excited for that game. I love horror games, so I'm super into that. So I'm more excited to get into the Microsoft side of things than ever, and I think that that's one. It's great for Microsoft because I've been playing Sony games for so long and been on that side of the fence, looking over at them like, well, I mean, you know, this isn't as big an offering as I'd like it to be to like have me either switch sides or even join the side. But now it's just completely inexcusable to not be playing those games and not have
Oh, they're so
at
good.
least access to that. So
So many just really good games at this point, dude.
yeah,
And
I'm pumped, man.
also, like, almost every, I say almost because there's a lot of indie titles. If it's on Xbox, that platform in general, and it's hell, like if it's on Xbox and PC and it's a like platform flat, you almost can always crossplay at this point in the game as well,
That's
which is
another
really
thing that's
nice.
really great is just crossplay is evolving so much, and so many games that you never would have thought like, oh man, I at the beginning of the generation I bought Battlefield 4 and I was like, oh man, I wish I could play with all my friends that play on Xbox, and I legitimately had a lot of people that wanted to play that game with me on that platform, but
Hmm.
there was just no way to get across. But now, I mean, potentially now that Microsoft has those ties with EA now, maybe they can convince that next Battlefield game to be cross-gen, or I mean, cross-gen and cross-play. Because Call of Duty is now cross-gen and cross-play. I think that they need to step that game up as well. So really excited to see all the future developments as far as all of this goes. Just the future of gaming looks so bright to have like such a large player pool to choose from for these online games. Just everything is looking up.
Yeah, for sure.
But that is everything that we got for you this week. It's kind of a short list, but I think we really nailed down everything that we talked about. The Metal Gear stuff was legitimately like a last second ad, and I thought that it was interesting enough to throw on there as like a lead. So, but if you want to keep listening to us, of course, look for us on Apple Music and Spotify. Make sure you subscribe there and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, because we need as many subscribers over there as soon as we you know
We
start to grow a little bit more.
need.
It'll feel really nice.
Oh.
Anyway, but also come over to our social media platforms. Look for us on Facebook and Instagram. Search Good Baker with an E, and you'll find us for sure. And until next time, peace.
Peace.